Hello everyone, we are back with a deck profile with Danger Dark Roll. My name is Vic. My channel is Blue Jedi. Please leave a subscribe, leave a like and subscribe. I'm a little nervous because this is my first deck profile that I'm doing. Um, I love this deck. I played in locals, and it's one of the best decks you can play. Um, it it pops one card on your field. It removes cards from your opponent hand. Like, it does more than just enough to play this deck, right? People hate this deck because of that reason, and nobody in this meta right now is playing this deck. And I like to play rogue decks, and this is one of them. So further ado, let's start with the deck profile. We got three Grafas. People play two, or people play one. I like to play three. Three is good enough because it's one of your main card of the deck. It's the, what do you call it? It's the face of your deck. You don't want to play one or two. I don't like the other Dark World monster, the look of it, because he's the original Dark World boss monster. Um, Everyone hated this card because back in the day, because it would pop a card, and then if so. By the way, sorry, I forgot to tell you. All the Dark World monster has two different effects depending on what happens. So if if this card gets discarded by your card effect, you get to destroy one card your opponent controls, and it's a mandatory effect. And the second effect is if it gets discarded by your opponent effect, you get to look at your opponent hand. If it's a monster, you summon it on your side of the field. It's one of the good things too. But there is another secret, not secret. The first line of this monster is, if you have a Dark World monster face up on the field, you can bounce that, and then you get to special summon this card from grave. And it's a condition, it's not an effect. So people try to go like, oh, I'm gonna do this. No, you cannot. It's a condition. You just need a Dark World monster on the field. Okay, that's for Grafa. Next up is, we got three Rainbow over King of Dark World. You gotta play three of these because it has the same effect as a Grafa, but you need level 7 or lower monster, Dark World monster to bounce to summon him. So he's like Grafa, but little the attack is higher. The first effect of this one is to search any level 5 or higher Dark World monster. So basically, you get to search a Grafa, and then there is three more cards you can search from your deck, and it's not once per turn. So that's the best part. The secondary effect, if he gets discarded by your opponent card effect, you get to summon one Dark World monster from your level 4 or lower Dark World monster from your deck to either side of the field. Uh, if you do the second effect, you can sorry, if you do use the secondary effect, you wanna summon one of the monsters in your deck that I'm gonna show you to discard a Silva that we'll get to the card that I'll talk to you about, but that's what it does. Um, Next up, we play one of these. Uh, Before, we were never used to play this card, but now we do because of the fusion monster in your extra deck. Um, because you could never special summon him. Because his effect is, if this card gets discarded by your opponent card effect, right? That's it. Nothing else. Like opponent, and then when he summons on the field, I get to destroy all spells or monsters, depending on which one I choose, right? You play one of these. Just it's for the fusion flotter. Next up, the Silva main card. You want to play this. If this card gets banned, you play Gold. Gold is good, but Silva is better because it spins off two cards, exactly two cards from your opponent's hand. So, so if your opponent tries to do something shenanigans, you can just use this and then bounce two cards your opponent controls. That you can do. first that's first effect is special summons from the grave. So if he gets discarded by your card effect, you get to summon him from grave. And the second effect, if he gets discarded by your opponent card effect, you oh by the way, both all the Dark World monster gets to activate both their effects if these card gets discarded by your card effect, your opponent's card effect. Okay, so make sure you remember to summon it and then you activate their effects. That's oh, look at that fancy little one. That's a platinum rare, by the way. Yeah, not QCR. I don't want that. Next up is 3 Gentas, bread and butter of your deck. It searches out your field spell and you need to play this. So basically you discard this, you search a field spell, you activate the field spell, you activate the field spell's effect to banish Genta, and then you get to use your other field spell effects to and this one comes back if it gets banished, but that's the only downside for this one. This is the only card that is once per turn to special summon from banished zone. But you can have 2 of these and you can discard all of them to get Gates of the Dark World. And basically you just want your level 8s to go off. You bounce Genta and then you get to summon the level 8s and then you go off again. Next up is another searcher of your deck. It's called Snow. Snow you gotta play 3 of, because basically if this card gets discarded, you get to search any Dark World card except for 1, because that's not a Dark World card. It just has an effect of it. The secondary effect is you get to special summon 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard if it gets discarded by your card effect. So yeah, you gotta play 3 of these. You play 1 Ceruli. You only need 1 of them because you have an extra deck monster where you get to bounce this card back to your hand. Basically what you do is if this card gets discarded, it goes to your opponent's side of the field, and then he will make you, so he becomes your opponent monster, and then this one is his effect to discard my card. So you get to activate 2 card effects for your Dark World monsters. You use Rebo's effect right here, the secondary effect of Rebo, to put it on your opponent's side of the field, and then you get to activate his effect to discard. That's it for the Dark World monster. You don't need any more than that. If you want, you can remove the Graphas, but I prefer 3. I'm not gonna change my deck profile for that. But next up is Danger Bigfoot. So it's gonna be a Danger engine next. You want to play 2 of these. I have played 1 and I have bricked, like not bricked, but like it was such a bad play, because if your opponent plays like Microcosmos and Deep Fissure, this card becomes broken, because if this card gets discarded, it pops a card. It doesn't matter even if it gets banished. As long as it gets discarded, that's all that matters. All the Danger card has another effect. You reveal, and your opponent chooses 1 random card. They discard, and then Danger will special summon on the field, and then you get to draw a card. So basically, it's like a +1, +2, I can say. And then you have a Dark World monster in your hand. And your opponent chooses that. You get to activate their effects. First effect, not the second effects, because they get discarded by your effect. That's for the Bigfoot. Next up is you gotta play 3 of Nessie. 1, 2, 3. I know it's not the same rarity, but I like it. I was looking for this one, but they don't. It's all sold out. He searches out all the Danger monster has the regular effect. You reveal. If it's not the card that was revealed, you special summon it and draw a card. The second effect is you get to search any Danger monster from your deck to your hand. So that's why you play 3 of Nessies, except for itself. You cannot search Nessie by itself, right? So you search Bigfoot or any other Danger monster. Next up, I played 2 Danger Chupacabra. People play 1. It's because it's a Fiend and Dark monster. I like to play 2 because it is a fiend monster, and if this card gets discarded, you get to search any danger monster that was in the grave. You special summon it on the field, not search. Sorry. That's for the Chupacabra. Next up is playing Mothman. Mothman is a must in your deck now, because if he gets picked for discarding, I have played where I was not playing this one, and that's the reason I lost one, because I had nothing else to do. Because if you reveal this and if they pick this one, you get to draw and discard. So you get to. That's why you want to do that, right? That's for the Danger Mothman. Next up is one Tsukinoko and one Jackalope. Tsukinoko, if this card gets discarded, you summon it on the field. It's just a floater that you want on the field. And Jackalope, if this card gets discarded, you get to special summon a danger monster from your deck on the field. All right. Basically, you just use Jackalope. If it gets discarded, you summon Suki on it. So Tsukinoko. Okay, that's it for the danger and the Dark World monsters. Now we're going for something extras. I would prefer you to play this card in your deck for sure. 1, 2, 3. Koki, Mero, Draco. That's your normal summon of your deck. Yes, you want to play this one because people play Droll and Lockbird. That's the only card that can stop this deck. Droll and Lockbird is the only card that stops it. Even if they do Nibiru still stops. This card will stop Nibiru and Drool and Lockbird. So that's why you play this. And if they have any problematic card, this one stops it pretty much. And you gotta play this card for sure, right? Even if it's you can only use it on your turn. Next up, we play one Salamander Catalyster. You just want to play one of these, because what it does is you reveal this card and one fiend. You specimen one and discard another one. So basically, you specimen this card and then you get to discard your other card, right? And you only want to play one because, excuse me, if this card gets discarded, if a monster, a fiend monster gets destroyed by your card effect or battle on your opponent on your side of the, if it gets, destroyed by battle, not card effect, destroyed by battle, you get to add back this card into your hand. So you get to do your follow-up plays afterwards. Next up, we gotta play double Nemesis Corridor. Nobody plays this card. You wanna shut down your opponent, play this card. It shuts. Now these days, it's all about search. Nemesis Corridor stops it, because there's an extra deck monster. In your extra deck monster, there is a monster that stops your opponent from searching anything. They can draw, but they cannot search. Right? So you're gonna play two of these. And how do you summon that extra deck monster? So if you're gonna have a lot of banished cards in your on your field. So you just put one back and then special summon this card, and then you just use it to fusion into that monster. That's it. It's that simple it is. And you're gonna have a lot because of your spell cards, or you're basically spell cards. That's it for the monster lineup. Now for the spell lineup, main fuel spell of the deck, it's the Gates of the Dark World. You gotta play 3 of these, is because all fiend monster gains 300 attack, but that is, you don't need to play that card. Play that effect. It's always on there as soon as you activate Gates. But the second effect is, it's once per turn you can banish one card, discard one card, and draw one card. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't slept a lot these days, so yeah. But that's what you do, and you use Genta to banish, and then you get Genta on the field because you control a Dark World card on the field. That's basically it. And it's not once per. It's a soft one per once per turn, so you can replace another gates with another gates, and you can still go activate another once per turn effect to discard. Right. Next up, you want to play 2 Dark Corridor. You don't want to play 3. You don't want to play 1. The reason we play 2 is because it's once per turn effect. It's not like anything. But you gotta play this is because you get to search a Dark World monster, and then you get to discard a card or discard. So basically, you search Grapha, you discard a Grapha. That's why you gotta play this. Next up, play Dark World Ascension. People play 1, but I play 2, and I had a chance where one of them gets banished. The second one actually helps you summon your extra deck monsters, and it's really good because the secondary effect is to discard 1 card and add this card back to your hand, so you get to activate their effects too. Next up is Dark World Archives. One of the most broken continuous spell that Dark World has is this one. Well, it has like a long text, but I'm gonna short it out. If a Dark World monster gets discarded, you get to discard a card and then draw 2 cards. So you basically discard your fiends. Sorry, not discard 1 card. Discard 1 card and then draw 2 cards. So that's one of the effects. The second effect is if you control a Dark World monster, you can discard a Dark World monster, gain that effect. So you get to pop the secondary effect too for this one. That's why it's really good. Next up, you gotta play card destruction. No other choice. You want to play one of these in your deck. Now these days people play Paroles. Amazing. You keep making you make sure that your opponent keeps drawing because your deck will just special, and then you have card destruction in your hand. You just go like, okay, card destruction. You have no cards in your deck, and then they lose. Next up, we got 3 Allure of Darkness. Your whole deck is dark except for 1 monster. 4 monsters. So basically, you want to play this. It's a draw 2 card for your deck, and then you banish 1. So, you get to activate Corridor faster. Next up, we play 3 Virus. People think, no, you can't play Virus because your deck is too fast. This one slows down. It does, but it slows your opponent down too. If your opponent has like spell cards, you can just use this and dump all their spell cards or trap cards if I'm facing like Labyrinth or Sky Strikers. Amazing. Next up, and 1 card is 1 card only, Skill Drain. It's in the ban list. It's limited to 1, and you want to play one of these cards. Your deck doesn't get affected by Skill Drain. So even if Guardian is on the field, tributing is a cost. So you summon Guardian, and then they try to activate monster effects. You go like, okay, Guardian effect. I'm gonna tribute it as a cost, and then I'm gonna negate it. That's why you gotta play Skill Drain. Next up, that's it for the main deck. Let's go with extra deck. You play 2 Grapha, Dragon Overload of Dark World. You use to summon this. You use 1 Grapha. That's your main monster deck card right here, and any dark monster in your field. So the way you summon it is through Dark World Ascension. So you use the spell card. That this one right here, you use this to summon him, because you can use your hand or graveyard to summon your Dark World monsters. You gotta play 2 of these. Amazing. It changes the text so that you get to discard, so you get to activate your opponent. So you get to activate secondary effects for Graphas. Next up, 1 colorless Chaos King of Dark World. That's why we play the level 7 Rebo. That's why we play this card right here in the start of the thing. That's why we play this card is because of this monster. His effect is if he gets special summoned, you can destroy all cards your opponent controls. It doesn't matter if it's a spell or trap, and then he gets an attack equal to the cards that were used to fusion summon. And then you can make sure that make sure that this card doesn't get targeted, so you can use his effect to discard one card, and you can make it so that this card they don't affect this. Next up is another last fusion. You gotta play one Thunder Dragon Colossus. So you know how I played Nemesis? This card right here. You know how I played this one? Is because to summon this. And his effect is your opponent cannot search. So these days everyone searches, and this one stops it. And he has a protection of its own where you get to banish one of your thunder monster, and he stays on the field. Next up for the links, you want to play Muckracker. You gotta play one of these. She is really good because even though it has a restriction of changing it, that you can only summon fiend monsters, but you want to play one of these. It's amazing because he gets to discard. She gets to help you discard and make plays. Next up, one Akashic Magician, because if you special summon her on the extra link zone, and you have Ceruli on your opponent's side of the field, and this card's pointing at it, you bounce that Ceruli back to your hand, and then you get to do your own plays again. Next up, we play one IP and one SP. You gotta play IP for sure because your deck special summons a lot of monsters, and SP because works really well with SP. I mean IP. Next up, we play Link Force. We gotta play Access Code. If you're going second, you can actually win one turn kill with this card because most of your deck has like really good monsters. And then he pops cards equal to the link monster you banish, right? Saryuja is good because if you use 4 monsters, you get to draw 4 cards and put 3 back. So it recycles your hand, so whatever you don't want, you can redo the whole thing. If you use 4 monsters, if you use 3 plus monsters, you get to use you get to special summon, and then if you do 2, if you make 2 or more. So basically, if you use 4 monsters, you get to activate all their effects once per turn. Right? That's it for the link monsters. Now for the exceed monsters, you want to play one Dweller, one number 60, and one number 41. Number 41 because if your hand is dead and you don't know how to go off, you just summon this card in defense. Your opponent cannot do anything because they have to summon everything on the defense. All the monsters go in a defense. That's the reason. And they cannot activate effect. None of the monsters can activate effect if they're in defense. Next up is number 22. That's a link 8. He's a card negation. So basically it helps out, you want to play one of these. If you don't want to play one of these, you can play another link 8 that's really good. There is a lot of good rank 8s that you can play, but I preferred Zombie Stein. The next and last card is Coach King Giant Trainer. If you're going first, this card is amazing. You get to draw 3 cards on your turn, but you do get to skip the battle phase. But since you're going first, you don't need to, right? You're going for discarding your opponent's hand completely. Next up with my side deck. Side deck doesn't matter because your main deck has enough cards to do it. But you can play whatever you want to play. I play 3 Dark Ruler no more because if you're going second and it's game 2, you can, if you have this in your hand and your opponent has a full board, activate this and then you can go off. Next up, Cosmic Cyclone, because cards like Defissure and Dimensional Fissure and Microcosmos exist. That's why you gotta play this. We got 3 Raidens. It's a kaiju. Free removal of the problematic card on your opponent's side of the field. We got 3 Chaos Hunter, because you want to play this card because you don't want your cards to get banished. So if your opponent let's say they activate they go like, oh, I'm gonna activate this. I'm like, okay, and they go like, okay, and then they go like, oh, special summon this. You activate Chaos Hunter, special summon, and then you get to this card stays on the field and you can use your all your monster effects on your grave, because your opponent cannot, it stops you from opponent to banish. Next up, we got the last 3 is I played Darkwell Puppeter. People don't know it's actually really broken because it stops effects from graveyard. So basically, if you go like, oh, I'm gonna chain this. Let's say they're playing like dark fire monsters like Snake Eye Ash. Snake Eye is popular. They have their graveyard effects, or Prometheus Princess. You activate. Okay, they're trying to activate something. You go like, okay, puppetry, and I'm gonna banish 3 monsters, and then I'm gonna or 3 monsters or spell or trap, doesn't matter, 3 cards, and then you get to discard 1 card. That's basically it. Anyway, that's it for the extra side deck monster. I hope you enjoy this deck profile. It's one of the best decks you can play, and it's really cheap. The extra deck is now cheap. Before it wasn't. Now it's really cheap. Everything together, I think you can make it into like $60-$70, because you can get like 3 structure deck, and that's it. Three structure deck. 3 structure deck is $13 each, so 26 and 39. So yeah. Anyway, it used to be like $10 each, but now they changed it. But whatever. I hope you enjoy the video. It's one of my favorite decks to play. I've been playing this deck since ever since the first structure deck came out for the Dark Wolves, and I still have these cards. Amazing. Anyway, enjoy. Please leave a like and thumbs up. Thank you.